Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Code Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation continues with the Baramaha composition of Guru Arjan, and the recitation today is around the last month of the seasonal cycle, Falguni. Falgun Anand Uparjana, Hari Sajjan Pragte Aaye, Sant Sahai Ram ke Kar Kirpa Diya Milaye, Sej Suhavi Sarb Sukh, Hun Dukha Nahi Jaye, Ich Punni Vad Bhagani, Var Paya Har Rai, Mil Sahiya Mangal Gavahi, Geet Govind Alaye, Har Jeha Avar Na Disai, Koi Duja Lave Na Laye, Halat Palat Savaryon, Nehchal Dityan Jaye, Sansar Sagar Te Rakhiyan, Bahul Najan Me Taye, Jehva Ek Anek Gun, Tare Nanak Charani Paye, Falguni Nit Salahiye, Jisno Til Na Tamaye. We commonly pronounce this month as Falgun in Punjabi. Falguni is how it's written. And this is the last month of the calendar, in the Indian calendar. And Guru Arjan says, so this is the culmination. Falguni Anand Uparjana, Har Sajjan Pragte Aaye. Anand Uparjana, the rising of Anand. This is the state of bliss. So in the month of Falguni, the state of bliss arose because Hari Sajjan Pragte Aaye, union with the Har Self was achieved. Sant Sahai Ram ke. So the Sants, here a reference to the Guru or to the perfected ones, they are the agencies through which this union occurs. And it is their benevolence, Kar Kirpa Diya Milaye. So it is the Guru who is the connector. So this month marks the culmination of a seasonal cycle, as we've seen, and is used as a metaphor. The whole cycle is used as a metaphor for the shifting moods of the soul bride, the mind in this case. So the crescendo of union with the self is being reached here in this month. And Guru Arjan uses the symbolism of a conjugal bed to describe the passage of ecstasy and joy that this culminates in when it experiences its higher self. So in everyday terms, if we had to think about this, well, this implies the expansion of the mind beyond the walls of its own constricting ego. And this happens through the discovery, gradually, of new knowledge. And that is always accompanied by the delight of clarity. Sej Suhavi Sarb Sukh, Hun Dukha Nahi Jaye. Now, the conjugal bed, conjugal related to marriage, union. That's what this is talking about. The conjugal bed is really a state of mind. It's a metaphor for the mind. Suhavi, it is pleasant and beautiful. Sej Suhavi. All sorrow departs. Dukha nahi jaye, and everywhere is comfort and happiness experienced. This is what happens when you meet a beloved. The feeling of having lost track of time, every moment being full of anticipation. And this is the fulfilling of the wish of the soul bride, which is the mind that innately seeks and desires this union. Ichpunni Vadapagani, because now the mind is a Vadapagani. It's fortunate, it's full. Vadapag, actually, Pag means a section. Vadapag means that when all the sections of a being are filled, that's being blessed. So Ichpunni Vadapagani, Varpaya, Var, the husband self, Harirai, you meet the herself, and the mind is now in harmony with its surroundings and experiences Sarab Sukh. Mil Saiya Mangal Gavahi, Geet Govind Alai. Mil Saiya, Saiya, friends, Mangal, songs of joy, Mangal Gavahi, Geet Govind Alai. Alai is really humming the tunes of Govind, singing songs of joy. This is the outcome of the union. Har jeha avar na disai, koi duja lave na jaye. So Guruji is saying, I see no one but the herself. Nothing can be compared to the self, even if we try. With my friends, fellow seekers, Mil Saiya, I sing songs of joy. Now, the term Mil Saiya can also be interpreted to mean the senses, which are now attuned, friendly, and the individual is now an integrated being, where head and heart have converged. When the mind, body, soul are in sync, the individual being discerns the underlying unity of everything, which is what is meant by I see no other than the herself. Halat palat savaryon, and the self makes life most agreeable in the now and the hereafter. Halat palat savaryon. Nechal dityo na jaye. How does the heart do that? By giving dityo, stability. Nechal is a state of the mind where it doesn't waver, it's still, it's solid. And the self saves the individual from drowning in the sea of life. Sansar sagar te rakhiyan, bahud na janme taye. The perpetuation of the rat race of life ceases. So, halat palat savaryan, bahud na janme taye. These are expressions from a culture and a system that has this notion of cyclical life and death. So it is being used here to explain that one ultimately reaches home. There's no coming and going. Gurmat uses the same expressions for the life now and here, which is why we can take halat palat savaryan to mean that the fickle mind is now stable, that is, it achieves a state of equilibrium, and that enables it to negotiate the sea of life successfully. Not coming back and going back simply implies that what was intended has been accomplished. Jehva ek anek gun, tare nanak charani paye. Jehva ek, we have but one tongue. Here a reference also to the mind and intellect. Anek gun, and the qualities of the self are many, beyond measure. How can we possibly conceive of them? Nanak offers the advice here. Nanak charani paye. Nanak crossed the ocean of life by placing himself at the feet of the enlightener, charani paye. This simply means under the tutelage and guidance of the Guru. And so the message of the month of Falguni is, forever offer praise to the one who expects nothing in return. Nit salahiye jisno dil na tamai. So what is being said here in this section is that our capacities are limited in the face of the universe. Jehva ek anek gun tare. And no one individual can master all the knowledge out there. So Nanak suggests tutelage, which can be read to be a lifelong learner. This is an apprenticeship to the Guru. Living life with an open mind, without prejudice and bias. So the message here, the take that we get is that the individual human existence is like a river and the Guru is like an ocean. Just as the river is narrow at the beginning, it's contained within its banks, and it rushes. Water is full of energy. It rushes noisily over rocks and waterfalls. And the ego mind, likewise, is constricted in the beginning. We are born with ego. It's narrow. It's overwhelmed with the force of passion and desire, Trishna, and tries to overcome everything that comes in its way by force. Just as the river gradually grows wider, the banks begin to recede, the waters flow more quietly, and in the end, without any visible break, the river becomes merged in the sea and painlessly loses its individual being. In the same way, make your interests gradually wider and more impersonal, until bit by bit the walls of the ego recede and your life becomes increasingly merged in universal life, quietly and in the end painlessly losing the sense of individual ego. On that note, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.